Welcome back to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13, powered by Tata Tele Business Services, and you're watching highlights from our recently concluded Delhi Springboard. In this segment, we have a keynote presentation by Harjit Singh, Managing Director, Tata Tele Services, who's going to share his perspective on Delhi as a business powerhouse and how enterprises here are being supported to scale new heights. Listen in.
I will start, however, by complimenting the ET Now team. They've set up this wonderful Leaders of Tomorrow platform. Delhi NCR is an economic powerhouse. We also know that Delhi NCR is a technology powerhouse. There are as many as 300 GCCs which are working out of this geography. Delhi NCR is one of the most vibrant clusters as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned. Delhi NCR has some of the finest educational institutions or institutes that you can think of. If you put a multi-industry focus, if you adopt technology to a large extent, if you have availability of talent, the combination of this delivers great progress, as is quite evident in the case of Delhi as well. Tata Tele Services is a telco, it's a telecommunication company, but you would struggle to find similar companies, certainly in India and possibly in the rest of the world as well. We are the only telco in the country, like I said, whose only focus is small and medium enterprises. So we really, everything that we do, the products that we create, the go-to markets that we conceive and implement out there, the investments that we make in our network and IT, everything that we do is centered around the needs of small and medium enterprises. Also, since we've been focusing on this business for the last decade and a half, we have, over a period of time, created a full stack of products and services. And the logical question that you'll ask is that whereas all the telcos are focusing on retail mainly and large enterprises, why have you chosen small and medium enterprises? We have a firm belief that, and the data tells you, that it is a very, very large segment. There are about 70 million small and medium enterprises out there. And apart from being very large, it is extremely underserved. Because there are very few service providers out there across the spectrum, whether technology or otherwise, who are creating products for the small and medium enterprises. If the SMEs were enabled with the right technology, with the right enablement, the upside for them is 20x. It's not 1x, it's not 2x, it's 20x. And all of these small and medium enterprises suffer. I will not, like Rupak mentioned, that the common issues are of credit, the common issues are of technology adoption. They have a relatively weak brand. Their ability to attract the best resources vis-a-vis large enterprises is minimal. The requirements, the challenges of the micro enterprises are very different from those of medium. The requirements are different. Therefore, the solution, the landscape of suppliers have to treat the small and medium enterprises very differently. But at a very basic level, if technology is not solving for or is not creating resilience in an organization, which means it allows the organization to sustain its business even in the bad times, right? And when the times are good, when the tailwinds are strong, if it doesn't allow or if it doesn't enable the organization to scale disproportionately, then technology is totally failing in its promise. Digitization is, I would say, a fairly old theme. Like AI is the buzzword now, digitization has been around for at least a decade, if not more. And the point about digitization was to move some of your workloads, which are physical, manual, to digital, to give those workflows velocity and scale, right? The early adopters of digitization were very logically the larger enterprises, right? But what COVID did was that COVID accelerated the digital transformation journey for all enterprises. And in our experience, the organizations that have derived the maximum benefit out of digitization are the ones who've had the courage to reimagine their business, keeping customer at the core of their business. Organizations which truly believed that if they were able to, or if they could somehow differentiate on customer experience, that would give them a edge in the marketplace and that would go. Those are the ones who showed the courage to go back to the drawing board and really reimagine the customer journey from scratch. And then digitize these workflows. If you are going down the path of digital transformation, start by really reimagining your business. Keep customer focus as the key. Believe you me, revenue will follow. If you are reimagining your business, get people who are smart, who understand customer experience, get them from an industry which is far more evolved on the customer experience side than your industry, and take their help in reimagining this thing. Here, I would, very proudly like to share with you a case study, and I'm not getting into the details, conscious of the time, where we worked with College Vidya. That's their brand name. That's not the company name. It's an online education advisory platform which the promoters set out there. And the business problem that they were trying to solve is not uncommon. Many of you will have the same sort of issue out there where you have a great product and there is excellent demand for their product, but somehow you are not able to fulfill that demand. So the company's issue was huge number of inquiries, but it's not translating into business. We worked with them, created a solution out there where the customer journey was stitched for every inquiry, where we ensured that every inquiry got the attention that it required. And since the company works with a lot of advisors, right, that the advisors were able to do justice to the inquiry that was routed to them. Clearly, the company is enjoying a far better translation of inquiry to order at this point in time. The second theme that I want to talk about was cloud. And I would say cloud is perhaps the most commonsensical solution out there, certainly for small and medium enterprises. And therefore, we've seen a lot of companies, be it in education and healthcare and logistics and financial services, who've gone down the route of adopting cloud. There again, the learning that we have is that if you're looking at cloud just as a means to reduce your cost, then your gains are again transient, right? But just like what I mentioned for digitization, if your journey to adoption of cloud or any other technology product stems from a reimagining of your business, then cloud becomes a means to an end, then the gains are far, far more. Again, happy to share, Mr. Neeraj Gupta is here. We worked, again, privileged to work with Hilux, which is an important auto component player in this cluster. They provide to literally all the important OEMs there, whether they are Japanese or Korean or from elsewhere. Their business problem was that, again, while the demand was good, because their product was good, right? Since they had multiple factories, the need was to synchronize production, maintenance, dispatch, supply chain management. Now, what had happened was that each unit had its own IT setup and therefore was vulnerable to local disturbances. So clearly, we worked with them, and I'm happy to share that the solution that we've sort of jointly crafted relies on cloud, relies on secure connectivity, and they are far more in control of their processes, and they are able to dedicate time to their core function, which is to create value by manufacturing. The last theme that I want to talk about is AI, and I mentioned to you that AI is the biggest, buzzword out there. AI would be a good fit for large enterprises because they generate a lot of customer data, structured, unstructured, and therefore any good work that you do with that data to understand the customer better, to design products better, the benefits are out there for the large enterprises. But thankfully, even for small and medium enterprises, if you look at the supply landscape, there are easily available use cases which can be applied to part of the value chain, and deliver good results. So literally, there is, even for small and medium enterprises, enough available out there in the supply ecosystem for you to get a good return on your investment. But I must caution you that AI has some very non-negotiable prerequisites, even for large organizations. If your data quality is bad, if your data architecture, data management practices are not up to scratch, no amount of intelligence, whether artificial or real, can help you. However, if done well, whether it is digitization as a larger theme, or cloud or AI as subsets of the larger digitization theme, if done well, it can give you disproportionate growth. And I mentioned to you, the journey is not easy. The journey requires the promoters to really invest their time in learning what these technologies are all about. The journey involves having captive resources, whereas you can depend on partners. We claim to be one of those partners, but it's really important that the technology landscape is also clear for you. Here again, I briefly run through a case study here. This is a healthcare technology. In the healthcare system, there is a huge amount of data out there, customer data, which is in the form of prescriptions, tests, and all that. And this is a company which has sort of used all that data, filed it in a manner where it is available through a simple search. So therefore, that data is available at the fingertips of the doctor, at the patient, and it really allows for a better sort of customer diagnosis and treatment out there. I would conclude by saying that I think we are on the same page when we say that there is a huge amount of potential which is residing in small and medium enterprises. Technology can be an enabler for extracting that potential, right? And the headroom is huge. The task before us is to make each and every employee who works for a small and medium enterprise to be 20 times more productive. Technology is out there. It requires for you to have a very clear vision, to have a very clear business model, to in many cases reimagine your business and then go out and buy the right technology out there. Calibrated technology adoption is the way. Thank you very much.
Now, before I sign off, here's something for all the entrepreneurs out there. Applications for Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13 awards are officially open. With the theme Agility, Ambition, Ascent, this year we are recognizing MSMEs that move fast, think big and scale smart in a rapidly evolving world. So if you think you have it in you, head to leadersoftomorrow.co.in and apply now. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.